So happy to have each of you here joining us today. As per usual, it's wonderful to be able to have an opportunity to be able to continue to spend so much time with each of you and assist you as you're making your choices and decisions for your future. I just want to say, we've already seen so much growth from many of you who have continued to join us from the beginning. I am excited about the fact that so many of you continue to be able to engage and have begun to really chat and take part and become a part of our presentations. And that really is rewarding for us, and it also will help each of you continue to grow as you're learning from each other. So I just wanted to put that out there and just say thank you to all of you for continuing to join us here on our webinars. So today our webinar is going to be in regards to career exploration, and we're going to be doing some talks and discussion around the fact that everybody's paths to be able to obtain employment can be very different. And even though we may have a different path, it's okay, and it's still workable, and it's still a way to be able to find employment and or school if that's the direction you folks decide you want to go. But the primary piece is just making sure that you have supports around you, that you ask lots of questions, and then you'll be sure to be able to continue to be able to get the info that you need to be able to move forward. So let's see, I'm gonna move us now. We're gonna be looking at our PowerPoint presentation. Let's see. Thank you so much, Jeff, for sharing that for us. So you see, we're going to talk about pathways to possibilities. So there are lots of different possibilities and choices for what it is that you folks are able to do. And we want to be able to work to assist you to be able to know how to make those decisions and what are the options out there for you. Okay, so next slide, please. And I'm also going to mention here that we have with us who's going to be assisting with our presentation, Allison, and she is our newest transition specialist who's been hired to be assisting us with our schools in Phoenix. And then we also have, and it's Allison Solari, and then we also have Kevin Matsunaga, and he is going to be assisting us. He's a peer to each of you folks who will be able to share the direction that he's gone and his story a little bit. So we'll get to that piece in a moment. So our first slide talks about the fact that careers, they're dynamic. That means that they change. It's common that a person will change careers 3 to 5 times within their entire lifetime. And so that means not 3 to 5 jobs, that's 3 to 5 careers. The difference between a job and a career, a job you would go to every day, complete your tasks. It's the type of work you choose. Okay, that's your job. Career is going to be what field you go into. So it could be you want to be the field working culinary as a chef. It could be the field as engineer working on blueprints and building bridges and that sort of thing. And the jobs are the different tasks that you would do underneath that, right? They will change, and that's okay. And just because you find that you chose something to do initially and it becomes something different, that's not wrong. That just means you've learned more. You've recognized you have other interests and you're adventurous enough to give them a try. There's nothing wrong with that. We've all, those of us, the staff here at the UCEDD that work to be able to share each of these webinars, we've gone through that same process. And then we find ourselves in front of you. So that's pretty fortunate, I'd say. So the other part is that the different paths that people are taking, some are really kind of straight on, right? So some folks say, all right, I'm going to get done with high school. I want a job. So you apply to jobs and go to work, right? And then you stay within that job. Some folks such as in the, in history. I know there are times we've heard that, folks are factory workers, maybe our grandparents, you may know folks that have had that same position for 30 years, 40 years. That's what they always did. There are other folks, right? I see some head nods, like you guys are familiar with that scenario. That's something that's something they chose to do, and that's fine. Then we have folks where it's a little more wiggly. We may be going in different directions in order to find our way. Maybe it means that you try out 6 different types of jobs before you realize, wow, this is what I like. This is what I want to do. I'm happy here. It just takes the being adventurous, being a good self-advocate for yourself, and having those supports around you in order to be able to move forward for that to happen. We have a little film. It's called Winners Never Quit and Quitters Never Win. And so it's a short film. We want you just to see. And as you're watching, I want you to kind of think about what I was just sharing with you as you're watching the path that this flower is going to take in order to be able to move forward with what they say they'd like to do. Maybe the grass is greener on the other side, let's say. Okay, so let's see what happens. Thank you, Jeff. Everybody here okay? Just a heads up or a nod? Okay, great. Thank you. Excellent, thank you. So, oops. Okay, excellent. So that little video that we just saw, that right there is an opportunity to be able to see that even though you may be surrounded by folks that are like in one place doing one thing, you probably have a vision. I know you guys all have dreams. You all have goals. You might be like that flower that's sitting amongst all the other flowers, right? And this is just the way it is. This is the way it's going to be. This is my life. And those flowers stayed there. They didn't grow. They didn't expand. They didn't have a chance to find a different way of life. They did what everybody else was doing, and they stayed there in the sun. And then there was nothing left, right? There was nothing left of them. They dried up because they didn't move on. They didn't do anything different. Then we have this other flower, and that flower is, nope, I'm not going to stay here. I know I can do more. I know that I can move forward, and I'm going to do that. And that flower tried and tried, right? Struggled, and it really looked like that it wasn't going to work, right? That maybe he was going to stay right there with all the others, but then continued to struggle because they knew, I can do this. I can move to where that sun is. I can get to where I'm going to grow better because I'm going to get sun, I'm going to get water, I'm going to get nutrients, and I'm going to be around a whole new group of folks. And that area looks brighter. That's where I want to be. And that's what they did, right? And that's what that little flower did. You guys are those flowers, okay? So you guys are growing, changing with your classroom, with your students, with your peers, with your family. I want you guys to think of yourselves in that way, as seeing something more and reaching for it, no matter what, because you can, okay? And we're here to help you with all of that. So I'm gonna move here. First, before I do, I really am curious. I wanna know what you guys' responses are to this. We didn't have this fit in, but I would love to hear what you guys think. So if you guys can put like into the chat box here, what does that mean to you? Any of your thoughts? I know we already have some folks that said.
Yeah, Jessica said it was motivating. I love that.
Very motivating. To think that something that can be just a short little film like that can be as motivating as it is, right? That means it's powerful. It was trying to improve, inspirational, that I can try my hardest to get a job. Absolutely. And that little flower was trying hard. He probably looked back and thought, wow, I can't do this, but still did. Everyone wants a job where they feel valued and have opportunities to advance. Otherwise, why stay at the job? That's right. Some folks may not, some folks may be okay. Let me say this about that comment, okay? Because you're absolutely right. If you don't feel right there, then you don't stay there. There are other folks that are in a job for a long time, and like I mentioned before, and they like that, and that's okay too. There is no wrong, right? As long as you're doing what you need to for yourself and you're happy and growing, that's what makes the difference, right? Not being in a place where we're going to stay doing the same thing and not have that chance for that growth. Let's see, I see Kira saying, I like that it was like a metaphor, though it was something other than a person. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There are lots of different ways that we can relate, even through a flower. Happiness is key.
I love how Jessica said, the word brave.
Oh, I want to say something.
I missed that one. I love that. Very brave.
Can I say something?
Sure, Miguel. Yeah.
Like, at the end, when the flower just withers away, it was kind of like, the rising phoenix, like, it turns into ashes and like, you become a new person.
Ooh.
I mean,
nice. That's absolutely right.
I can definitely relate to that because sometimes, when I say I look back to when I was a younger teenager, I don't want to think of myself as that teenager anymore, but rather I am a new person.
I love that. That's a great metaphor.
We can almost become a new person every day with all of the different opportunities that come in front of us. And we make that choice every day as to whether or not we're ready for that step, right? Michaela, I see your hand up. And I know it might be Michaela, but I only see Michaela's hand.
It's like, I mean, even though even though even though life can be hard sometimes, you always need to try your best. It will get better one day.
And sometimes that's what part of life is all about. Sometimes you lose.
Mhm. Sometimes we do lose and sometimes we gain,
Mm-hmm.
but we're never going to have a chance to gain if we don't try, right?
Mhm.
If
Yep.
we continue to stay in that one place, then like those flowers, they dried up, or they continue to try and move forward and found a nicer place, right? Where that happiness was, where they wanted to be. Mhm. Okay, excellent. Thank you so much. I love hearing all of you guys' comments on that. I was really excited to find this video, and we'll be using it again in the future, I am sure. So we're going to move back to the PowerPoint at this point. And
So you don't want to give up, though.
Kyle, yes, that's right. Don't give up. Don't give up. Keep going. If you have something in mind, a goal, a vision, a dream,
If it doesn't,
may go
if
ahead.
it gets hard, sometimes it gets harder, so you don't want to give up.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
shouldn't
Even
give
when
up.
it's hard. Yep. Yep. Call on other folks and just keep going, right? Find some tools that are going to help you, and that gives you the chance to be able to stand up on your own with that support
Even
behind
though
you
it
and keep
gets
going.
harder, we still don't want to give up.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Thank you, Kyle. So while we're looking at this next slide, our job pathway, there's something that we wanted you to be able to recognize. This is more of the path where we talked about that some jobs are going to be helping you start off in that job, and it's going to be more of a straight path. So in this example, we wanted to show you that let's say we have an individual, they started their job and they're a dishwasher, okay? This is all through the same company, same restaurant. So what they're going to do is they're going to start off where they're going to be doing some cleaning. They're going to be doing some organizing. Those are things similar to what maybe you guys are doing when you're at home, right? When you're doing some chores, I'm sure you guys each have chores that include cleaning or organizing in some way or another. So this individual was able to start work using those skills from home that they had learned to start dishwashing. Then they're working, and they decide they want to do something else within the same job, and they get a promotion. So they have that job, same company. Their employer has noticed that they're doing a really good job and that they want to be able to grow. So they apply for a job as a host. So this individual was doing really, really well, continued working, became a host, still organizing, right? That's a skill they had before that they're using, but now they start building on that. They have other skills. Now they're going to be talking more to desks, talking more to their guests because they're face to face with them as a host. They're going to be answering the phone. They're going to be seating guests. So they're communicating a lot more, right? That's another skill within that job. Okay. So first they had to organize and clean with dishwashing, and then they became a host and started to communicate a lot more and work those skills. Great. So we've been promoted. We're getting more money. We're doing another job. Let's say they decided to do that for about, I don't know, a year or two. You know, it was fun enough. It was exciting enough. They had all the people engagement. So they liked it. Time went on. They decided, you know, I want to do something more. Now we apply, we become a waitress. Let's think about those tasks. Okay. Now we're going to be taking orders. Now we're going to be talking with other folks in the restaurant, kitchen, wait staff, still the customers, phone calls coming in. This is a lot more involved because they're going to be a little more busy. They're going to be communicating more. They're going to be, as a waitress, going from table to table to table, right? They're going to be active all over the place. They're going to be moving around. When they were a dishwasher, they were in the kitchen. When they were a host, they're at the front of the restaurant. Now they're everywhere in that restaurant, right? That's a big change. Some years have gone by, and now we decide to be a chef. Same thing, new skills, moved ahead. And I'm sure you can imagine all of the different, business and skills that it would take to learn and complete the job as a chef, right? So now they're keeping the kitchen clean and organized. They have to work faster to keep up with all those orders. They maybe didn't have to go as fast in all those other jobs. They needed to learn how to be able to do that and do it well. So this is an example of a person has taken a job, entry level, working in dishes, and took that straight path and just kind of kept going, right? So what we'd like to do on our next slide in working with you is we're going to be talking a little further in detail. Let's see. So we have our mentee, and what we want to find out from you guys is what skills do you think that it would take in order to be able to complete each of these different positions? So I mentioned a few of the different tasks and some of the things that they would have to do in order to be able to do well with us. But we want to hear your ideas and see what it is that you're learning from this. What do you think they need to do for these jobs? So we have a mentee set up. Here we go. So what we want you to do is you're going to do, as we have so many other times, and we may have new folks here, so we'll go through that step. You're going to go to www.mentee.com, and then once you get to that website, you want to use your code 98 40 and 20, and you're going to see this question: what skills might you learn from working as a dishwasher? Okay. Let's see, we also have it listed right now over in the chat. So if that helps you out, feel free to go right there, click on that link, and it'll take you to where you need to be. And then put in your code. So feel free, as soon as you guys are ready, to start putting in a few items on here. Add items to the chat if that's easier for you. That's absolutely fine. Okay. Diligence. Yes, when we are dishwashing, we have to be diligent. That means we have to be on task, attentive, stay focused on what we're doing, fast-paced. Yeah, be able to handle a fast-paced environment, be efficient. It'd be hard to do the dishwashing job if you weren't efficient. We want it to be quick and clean. Cleaning those dishes. Focusing. Yes, you have to focus when doing dishes. You may not think that that would be so necessary, but in a kitchen, in a restaurant, doing dishes, it can be unsafe if you end up with water on the floor and it gets slippery and you've got soap all over the place. That could get dangerous. And it is important to be focused and be looking at all those pieces. Speed.
Ooh, attention to detail.
Guys are
That's
good.
such a good one.
Gotta have attention to detail, always. That's important for every job, I'd say, right? That's a pretty basic. I know you guys need that for school too. Let's see. Try your best. Have flexibility. Being positive. Looks like you guys are all ready to work. You've got all the basics down. You know what needs to happen for a job. Look at you.
Noah said in the chat to be clean and cautious.
Yeah,
Those are great.
good. See if someone needs help. Yeah, whenever we're working, there's always an opportunity to help another person in a job. Good teamwork. Never give up. Good attitude. Trying your best. Excellent. See, Jill put into the chat, multitasking is important. Great. Having a good attitude. Excellent. I love this. So for those of you not familiar with the Menti that may be new here, for when you're doing a Menti, for the more people that add the same answer, the answers will get bigger on our screen. So that means that lots of folks are saying never give up and to be fast paced and try your best. So that's how these work. And when you have maybe one person or two that said something, then the words tend to be a little smaller. So this lets you see the group of you, how many are saying certain things as well. And so many of you are right on track. Time management. Perfect. So I believe we have another Menti along the same idea, Allison, right? With another position here that we're going to be looking at. Yeah, there we go. Host. We're going to do the same sort of thing that we just did. We're looking at how this individual is growing, right? On the job. And so as a host, can you think of anything that would be different? We still want to do all of the items that you guys listed because we're growing in the job, right? So what are some other ideas? Excellent customer service is in the chat. Yes. Customer service is huge as a host. Smiling a lot. Oh, lots of people like that. Speak to customers. Smiling, socializing, be yourself. Oh my gosh, that's so important.
Until you go like, my job is to say hi. So hi, in like a bad attitude kind of a way. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, right. People can hear,
So
right?
hi. I don't know. All my job is to do is to say hi. So hi.
It's how you say it, though. It's all about tone. It's about people feeling comfortable, right? Making them feel
It's all
welcome.
about tone, yeah.
Yeah, that's important. All right, look at this. Hospitable. Handling angry customers. Yeah, that's a new skill as a host, right? If you're a dishwasher, you're going to be out in the back. You know, you may not have as many angry people, but in the front, working in the restaurant, that's a big skill. Being respectful, being nice to people, having good communication. So these skills are a little different, right? These were a little more involved. So in order to do your job as a host, then you're growing within that field, right? Learning. So I believe we then have another Menti. I want to make sure we have a chance to be able to hear from Kevin. So we're gonna move along here into waitress. Communication. Communication kind of fits all of these different jobs. That's why you guys hear so much as you're going through school all these years about communication, clearly speaking, Say what you say, mean what you say what you do what you say. There's a phrase there. I can't think of it. I'm going to let that one go. Waitress, balance. Oh gosh, that's true, right? Think about that as a waitress. You've got your tray, and you've got all your food you're walking through, and we want to make sure that that doesn't end up on somebody else. So that's a skill. A good memory. You don't want to mix those orders up. Then you'll get your angry customer. Then you have to deal with that.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah.
We don't want to go there. Taking notes for the orders all the time. So that means writing skills, maybe, right? I'm sure there are probably some
Yeah.
restaurants where maybe they have a list, but you've got to be able to write notes and take orders.
Hey, yeah.
Quick thinking. That's a big one. Yeah. And you have an opportunity to practice that skill more as a waitress than as a dishwasher, because you're in front of folks more often and you're more active, where you're going to be coming across situations where you would have to deal with that more often. Balance, we had a good memory, quick thinking. Don't be lazy. I see that one as a new one. That's right. We don't want to be lazy on any of our jobs. No time for that. Never be rude. I think we could just keep going all day with these. There are so many skills, right? And as I think about this and we're going through this exercise, the skills that you guys learn from jobs, you'll never be able to list every single one. Going to work benefits folks more than you could even believe, because there are so many different ways that you're going to grow and become a better person as a result of your work. Because you see all of these things we're listing that you guys are listing on the screen. It gives you a chance to learn more and more skills in order to improve. So change can be good, right? Because it gives us a chance to learn something new. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next. Then we have our chef. You guys are all ready. Gosh, you've been moving right into this. Stable hands. Yeah, you want to be stable with your hands as you're using knives as a chef, right? You want to be careful. Motivation to maybe learn new meals, maybe to offer a new plate to the restaurant, right? Go to work on time. Can you imagine the chef doesn't show up at work on time and there's a restaurant full of folks? They're not going to be happy. Following instructions, safety, leadership, accuracy. Very good. Yeah, as a chef, why would you have to be a leader? So you've got lots of people working underneath you when you're a chef, right? And you've got lots of, you've got your little sous chefs and other folks that are working and assisting you. So you've got to lead them to do well. Excellent. This is great. Okay. Thank you so much, you guys. I love that you guys are so knowledgeable about all of the different types of skills that are important for work. And that means that you know what you need to be able to start working on, some of you. And just begin small. That's okay. Because there's always a chance to be able to continue growing along the path, whichever way you decide to go. So let's move to the next. Please. Okay. Nope, I think we had. So I'm going to have us move. Allison, I'd like us to be able to have an opportunity to be able to hear from Kevin and share now. These guys
Yeah,
had a lot to
definitely.
offer on that beginning piece, which is really
Yeah.
exciting.
We've had such
So
great
Allison,
participation.
yeah.
I love that. Okay, so we're gonna just kind of skip through this part just real quick because we want to get to Kevin. He has some really awesome stuff to share with us. Kevin, do you want to say hello so everybody can see you?
Hello.
This is my friend Kevin. He works with us here at the UCEDD, and he's going to talk a little bit about his job here with us in a few minutes. But I learned so much about Kevin as we were preparing for this webinar, and I think that he has some really awesome insights to share with everyone. So I have just a few questions to ask him, and he's going to expand. And if you guys have questions that come up for you, you can type them in the chat, and we'll see if we have time for him to kind of address any of those. Okay, so Kevin, thank you so much for being with us.
You're welcome.
When you think, Kevin, back about your childhood, when you were growing up and learning what you think you might be interested in, what were some of your favorite subjects in school?
At first, I enjoyed math because math for a while, especially numbers, seemed easy to follow and understand. However, as I got older and went to more advanced grades in math started becoming more and more confusing and difficult to understand, especially all these what's called word questions. Then when I was 17, I noticed that art was more like my thing because it ended up being something that I felt like I knew that I could do without asking for any help or advices from everyone. Even though I have done art a few times throughout my whole childhood, just not as much as I did all my other subjects like English, math, science, history, and etc.
I love that. So you really started to focus on art. That's
Yes.
great. So Kevin, you chose to attend college, which was great for you. What did you study in college? And then what did you end up having as your major when you graduated?
I've tried numerous majors throughout my entire college time, especially everything in science like chemistry, engineering, astronomy, archaeology, all that stuff. Just, but, but I guess in the end, I ended up majoring in fine arts because it felt like something, again, it felt like something I knew that I could do without the needs for help or advices, and I did not struggle on it nearly as much as I did with everything else just to understand it.
That's so great. Thank you so much for sharing that, Kevin. One thing that I think is so great about your story and is so relatable for me too, is that it's very common to try different things when you're studying in college, right? To maybe think that you want, like I thought I wanted to be a nurse, and then I was in science class for one day and changed my mind because that was not the way my brain works very well. So I love, Kevin, that that's been your journey, is that you just were brave enough to try lots of things before you just found what really worked for you. So that's great. So since college, Kevin, what related work experience have you had?
I have graphic designing like experience that I have learned from a print shop that I interned at for making graphic design products. These are products like brochures, flyers, posters, business cards, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And what I did was I actually use computers, especially certain computer programs like Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign, especially to actually make these products. Then I actually printed them with printers or modern time industrial size printing presses. Then for like brochures or booklets or whatever you want to call them, I've actually did what's called buying them using, again, these industrial machines that, believe it or not, actually do organize, score, fold, staple, which is most common way of binding books.
Oh,
And then I guess actually trimming all the pages into like equal lengths, like how we see in pretty much all the books we see at bookstores all the time when the book is closed. And then I actually helped a delivery guy deliver them to the numerous clients that would order these products. And then
wow.
as for UCEDD, uh, at UCEDD, I have had similar experiences to all of that. So
Including what do we see behind me?
So yeah, I basically actually made numerous things like how I've made at the print shop, like the Zoom background is one good example. Plus, I've also am learning a few additional experiences like editing YouTube videos that the Sonoran UCEDD makes.
That's so great, Kevin. I love that how you explained that you learned different skills in each job and grew and are continuing to learn. Right?
Excuse me, Ms. Allison.
Yes.
Can I ask Kevin something?
Sure.
Hey, Kevin, what kind of YouTube videos do you do?
What YouTube videos do I do?
Yeah, I might want to check it out someday.
Maybe we could put a link to the Sonoran UCEDD YouTube videos in the chat.
So far, I've been editing the YouTube presentation videos that the UCEDD team has been making, I guess, ever since the pandemic.
That's cool.
That's great. So many skills that you have and that you're continuing to develop. Love that. Well, Kevin, thank you so very much. I think that you were so helpful, and I've just really loved getting to know you and your path. And yeah, thank you again, Kevin. Jeff, we can move on to the next slide, I think. Wendy, you want to talk about some of the resources we have listed here available?
Sure thing. Thank you so much, Kevin. That was awesome. So you were able to show folks that you may not have gone straight on to a job right after school. You ended up going into college, and then you had some different experiences there in order to decide where you were going to go. And you've made it here to the UCEDD. And we are so blessed to be able to have you and excited that you are a part of our team. So our next slide here, the last slide, is resources. We wanted to make sure that you guys knew where it is that you can go in order to do other career exploration for yourselves. So we have a couple of slides here that offer the ability for that. The Career One Stop, which is the first link that you see. And then at the bottom, Explore Work. We'll also do some career exploration. Now, the Career One Stop also has some interest assessments available so that you can answer some questions, which will help narrow down the field that you might want to work in. So if you go onto that website, you'll get a little more information there. Ask Jan is where you can get information about accommodations. And so there are times that folks need help at work, and we need some other assistance, and Ask Jan will assist you with being able to get information about that and how to ask and what is okay and isn't okay for employers to be able to talk to you about. I mean, that is going to be listed on there as well. Let's see, we also have work and benefits under AZDB 101. So DB 101 is Arizona's website that assists folks with being able to determine what their benefits are going to look like once they take on a job. And so you'll find that one to be a very helpful resource as well. Let's see, and then I already spoke about the Explore Work, career exploration. And you'll see on there a whole lot of fun activities. I believe they have some videos, they've got some worksheets, they've got a lot of different resources as well. So from that website, you can get to a lot of others. So those are the resources we just wanted to make sure you had. We will be sharing, as we usually do, our PowerPoint presentation and our recorded video for the future. You folks can go to the registration link that you went to get here today. And at the very bottom, you'll see where all of our previous webinars are listed. So you'll have a chance to always go back and be able to capture this information. So I think we're done with the PowerPoint at this point. And of course, we want to be able to take some questions from you folks. And before we start taking any of those questions, I just want to let you guys know, I see we're at 5 minutes to 10. And prior to logging off, just know that we do have our evaluation that we like to put up on the screen, where we want each of you answering questions. So I think what we're going to do is, you'll see those questions right there. Peer-to-peer, let's talk about, see, this is where you're going to be just answering how much you've been able to get out of this. Did you learn something new? Was it easy to understand? Will the information help you in the future?
I answered all yes.
Thank you for participating. We appreciate it.
Yes.
There's going to be some other questions here too that'll come up for our polls. So we want to make sure you're answering these, but we also will take questions. You guys were excellent today. Thank you so much for being here and participating.